We've all had those nights when the world feels colder than it should, when you're just trying to make it through your shift, go home and rest your tired feet, but trouble finds you anyway. Chloe had just finished a long night at the diner. The parking lot was half empty, the hum of the neon sign the only sound left. Then came the voices, two men who'd been sitting at the counter earlier, drunk, loud, mean. They cornered her by her car, throwing ugly words that stung worse than the chill in the air. When she tried to walk away, one of them grabbed her wrist hard. Their laughter echoed through the night, and that's when headlights swept across the lot. A man stepped out of the shadows, calm, silent, and watching every move. Arthur had just arrived. Before we continue, thank you for all the love and support you've been showing on these stories. It truly means a lot. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us bring more of these stories to life every week. The night air was sharp, the kind that bites your lungs when you breathe too deep. The diner behind Chloe flickered in soft red neon, its hum breaking through the silence of an otherwise empty parking lot. It was just past midnight. She dusted late, wiping tables and helping the cook close up. The kind of small-town diner where everything smelled like coffee, fry oil, and long days. The kind of place where people came to feel less alone. Chloe wasn't thinking about much, just home. Maybe a cup of tea, a warm shower, and bed. Her back ached, her hands sore from carrying plates all night. She was halfway across the lot when she heard them. The laughter, it came from near the side of the building. Rough, male, too loud for the hour. She turned. Two men, same ones from earlier that evening. They'd been sitting in her section, drunk, obnoxious, the kind of customers who mistook politeness for permission. Chloe froze. Her first instinct was to keep walking, pretend she didn't hear, but one of them called out, "Hey, sweetheart," Mark slurred. "Forget to say goodbye." She kept walking. Footsteps followed. "Come on now," David said. "We tipped you, didn't we? Least you can do is give us a smile." Her heart thudded faster. She reached her car, keys trembling in her hand. "Don't make it weird, love," Mark said, voice closer now. "We're just having a chat." Chloe turned, voice steady, but quiet. "It's late. You should go home." The taller one, Mark, grinned, a grin that didn't reach his eyes. "Oh, we will, but you seem tense. Maybe we can help you relax a bit." She took a step back, the metal of her car pressing cold against her spine. I said, "Go home." Then it happened too fast to process. Mark reached out, grabbed her wrist hard. Chloe gasped, not from fear, but from pain. His grip was iron. She tried to twist away, but his fingers only tightened, nails digging into skin. "Hey," she shouted, voice cracking. "Let me go." The other man, David, laughed. "Easy, sweetheart. He's just playing." Her wrist twisted again. Something popped. She screamed. It wasn't loud, but it carried raw, sharp agony. And that sound, that single cry, was the moment everything changed, because someone else heard it. A pair of headlights swept across the lot, cutting through the night like a blade. A car slowed near the diner's exit. The driver's door opened. Out stepped Arthur. He'd been driving through town after a long day. Not the kind of man who looked for trouble, but one who never ignored it. He caught the sound before he saw the scene. The cry, the laughter, the tone of a man who thought he could do anything without consequence. Arthur's boots hit the asphalt, heavy and deliberate. He didn't move fast. He didn't need to. The men didn't notice him at first. Their attention was still on Chloe, whose eyes were wide with pain and disbelief. "Let me go," she cried again, yanking her arm. The taller man, Mark, smirked. "Relax. I'm just joking." Arthur's voice cut through the night like gravel over steel. "That doesn't sound like a joke." They froze. Mark turned, irritation giving way to confusion. "What's it to you, mate? We're just having fun." Arthur stepped closer, his shadow stretching across the pavement under the neon glow. "Does she look like she's having fun?" Mark's grip loosened just slightly. "Mind your business, mate. She's fine." Arthur's eyes dropped to Chloe's wrist, red, Swelling, he raised an eyebrow. That wrist says otherwise. Chloe pulled free, stumbling back. Her breath came fast. Arthur shifted his stance, weight-centered, calm as ever. You've got 3 seconds to walk away. The shorter man, David, laughed. Or what action hero? You gonna film a sequel out here? Arthur didn't blink. Mark took a step forward. You don't scare me, mate. Arthur's eyes flicked down to his stance, measuring distance, weight, intent, instincts built over years of real fights, not rehearsed ones. His voice stayed level. You should be scared of what comes after 3. Silence. David shifted uncomfortably. Come on, man, let's go. But Mark wasn't listening. Pride had its grip on him tighter than he'd had on Chloe. You think just 'cause you're some tough guy, you can talk to people like that? Arthur stepped closer, 1 foot, then another. I'm talking to a man who puts his hands on women. You sure you want to finish this sentence? Mark's bravado cracked. He backed up half a step. You don't know what happened. Arthur's jaw flexed. I know enough. Then he moved. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. It was precise. Arthur reached out, grabbed Mark's wrist, the same one that had hurt Chloe, and twisted in a single controlled motion. Mark yelped, dropping to one knee as Arthur's grip locked in place. Funny thing about hands, Arthur said evenly. They break easier than people think. David tried to lunge forward, but Arthur's eyes snapped toward him. A glare so sharp it stopped him mid-step. Don't, Arthur said low and steady. This isn't your moment. David froze. Arthur released the wrist, letting Mark collapse backward onto the pavement. He groaned, clutching his arm. Chloe stood frozen, one hand pressed against her chest, the other cradling her injured wrist. Arthur turned to her, his tone softening instantly. You okay? She nodded, though tears glimmered in her eyes. He grabbed me. I tried to. You don't have to explain, Arthur said quietly. You did nothing wrong. He turned back to the 2 men. You're going to apologize to her right now. Mark glared through pain. You're crazy. Arthur tilted his head. Try me. David panicked, grabbing his friend's arm. Just say it, man. The words came out weak, choked by humiliation. I'm sorry. Arthur nodded once. Good. Now get in your car before you lose something else. The 2 scrambled up, muttering curses under their breath. Arthur didn't move, just watched until their headlights disappeared into the night. Only then did he exhale. Chloe stood there trembling. I thought no one would come. Arthur looked at her, his face softening. Someone always should. Her wrist was red and swollen. He gently reached out. Can I? She hesitated, then nodded. He examined it carefully, his touch steady. Not broken, he said. Just sprained. Ice will help. She let out a shaky breath. You didn't have to do that. Arthur smiled faintly. I didn't have to, but I could not. The cook, Harold, who'd been locking the door, hurried over. Chloe, you all right? I heard yelling. He stopped dead when he saw Arthur. Wait, are you? Arthur raised a hand. Just a man passing by. Harold nodded, eyes wide. Well, whoever you are, thank you. Those guys come around sometimes, think they own the place. Arthur looked toward the street where they'd driven off. They won't come back. He turned to Chloe. You need a lift home. She shook her head. I'll be okay. Arthur studied her for a second, then nodded. All right, but don't drive until you calm down. He took a step back, hands in his jacket pockets, ready to leave. Chloe called after him. Why did you stop? You didn't even know me. He turned slightly, that half smile flickering across his face. Didn't need to. Then he walked away, slow, unhurried, the neon light reflecting off his jacket as the hum of the diner faded behind him. Inside, Chloe sank onto the curb, heart still pounding. For the first time all night, she didn't feel small. She looked down at her wrist, bruised but not broken, and thought of his words. Someone always should. The phrase echoed in her mind like a promise. She didn't know his name. She didn't know his story, but she knew this, that somewhere in the night, decency still existed, and sometimes it walked straight out of the dark. The parking lot was quiet again. Only the hum of the diner's neon sign filled the air, soft, steady, and strangely comforting after the chaos that had just unfolded. Chloe sat on the curb, her pulse still thrumming through her bruised wrist. She glanced toward the road where Arthur's car had disappeared, half expecting him to still be there, but he was gone. She exhaled slowly, unsure if she should cry, scream, or laugh in disbelief. The cook, Harold, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You sure you're all right, Chloe?" She nodded, though her voice trembled. "I will be," Harold sighed, rubbing his temple. "That guy, whoever he was, he saved you from something ugly." Chloe looked at her wrist again, then at the faint trail of tire marks on the asphalt. He didn't even want credit, just did what was right. The next morning, the diner felt different. The air was heavier, like the walls themselves remembered what had happened. Word had already spread. 2 local men had been hospitalized overnight. Nothing serious, but serious enough. One with a sprained wrist, another with a bruised ego. Chloe tried to focus on her routine, coffee, tables, orders, but the whispers followed her everywhere. "You hear about the guy who stepped in," one of the regulars murmured to another. "They say he was built like a wall." "Chloe knows him," the other said. "He helped her." Chloe didn't correct them. She didn't know Arthur personally, but somehow it felt like she did. There had been something in his eyes that night. Not anger, not even heroics, just quiet conviction, like a man who'd seen too many people look away and decided he never would. That afternoon, as she cleared a booth, a couple of teenagers walked in holding their phones out. One of them gasped. "That's her." Chloe frowned. "Sorry." The girl turned her phone around. On the screen was a blurry video, headlights cutting through the night, 2 men stumbling backward, Arthur standing between them and a woman, her. The caption read, "Arthur stops assault outside diner. Real-life hero." Chloe's heart stopped. The video had been posted to a small local page that morning. Now it was everywhere. Thousands of comments, thousands of shares. "This is what being a man looks like. Protect, don't harm. Chloe, whoever you are, you didn't deserve that. Stay strong." She stared at the screen, disbelief melting into something else. "Gratitude." The girl smiled at her. "You were really brave, you know." Chloe shook her head softly. "No, he was." By evening, reporters started calling the diner. "Is it true Arthur was there? Can we talk to the waitress? Does she want to make a statement?" Chloe turned them all down. She didn't want the fame or the attention. She just wanted peace. But Arthur, he didn't stay silent. A few hours later, Chloe's phone buzzed with a message from Harold. "Check his page." She opened Instagram, and there it was. A photo of the diner taken from the street, posted just a few minutes ago. The caption read, "Some people still think kindness is weakness. It isn't. It's the strongest thing you can show in a cruel world. Last night I met a woman named Chloe, a waitress who stood her ground. She didn't deserve what happened, but she handled it with courage. To every woman working late, walking home, or just trying to get through another day, you deserve respect. Always." Then in smaller text beneath it, "And to the ones who can stand up, do it. Someone always should." Chloe read it twice before the tears came. Not because it was from Arthur, the well-known individual, but because it was from a man who understood what she'd felt. Her wrist still ached, but now it felt like something more than pain. It felt like a reminder. Days passed, and the story spread even further. News outlets ran it as Arthur steps in to protect Waitress. But what resonated with people wasn't just the fight. It was the quiet way he handled it. No press conference, no big speech, just respect. Customers who had never set foot in the diner began stopping by. Some left generous tips. Others simply offered a smile and a kind word. One woman, a mother of 3, grabbed Chloe's hand and whispered, "Because of you, I told my daughter never to stay quiet again." Chloe didn't know what to say. She just squeezed back and smiled. Then, one night after closing, a car pulled into the same spot Arthur's had that night. A familiar voice called from the shadows. You handle yourself all right? Chloe froze, heart skipping. She turned and there he was. Arthur, hands in his jacket pockets, that same calm expression. Chloe laughed in disbelief. You came back. He nodded. Had to make sure you were doing okay. Chloe smiled, stepping closer. I am, thanks to you. Arthur shrugged. You did all the hard work. I just showed up. She glanced down at her wrist, still sore. Arthur smirked. Means it's healing. For a moment, they stood in silence, the air thick with unspoken gratitude. Then Chloe said softly, You really didn't have to come back. Arthur looked at her, eyes kind but firm. That's the problem, Chloe. People keep thinking they don't have to. He turned to leave, but paused, glancing back. You ever feel unsafe again, you call the police. Or better yet, he smiled faintly. You call me. Chloe laughed, shaking her head. How would I even do that? Arthur winked. You'll find a way. He started his car, the low rumble echoing across the lot. Chloe stood there, watching as the tail lights disappeared into the night. This time, though, she didn't feel small. She didn't feel invisible. She felt seen, protected, valued, and as the diner sign flickered behind her, she whispered the words that had stuck with her since that night. Someone always should.